sponsors Premier League darts on Sky Sports.
That's fireworks, all right, from Peter Wright. What a fantastic dart! Oh, that is brilliant! Oh, unbelievable! Sensational dart! Welcome back to the GE Oil and Gas Arena, Aberdeen, Scotland! We are live on Sky Sports, and it's time now to meet the players, ladies and gentlemen, the former world finalists. Please welcome Chisnall, Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of 5 PDC ranking events this one then, those making their first appearance on the Aberdeen stage. Mitchell Cat, Sky Sports Darts, joining the banter on there. Wright left Sheffield without a point for his 2 matches on the night. Lost 7-4 to Anderson, 7-5 to Barney. For the great Premier League season, hasn't he? Started the 19th, Chisnall, the World Grand Prix finalist, 5-1-18, 1-6-4 finish. Missed out on a draw against Barney, lost 7-5 in the end. Saved his skin on Judgment Night as well. Third against 7th in our Premier League table. Rod Harrington and Stuart Pye, your commentators.
Yes, thanks Dave. For Peter Wright, he wants to get back on track. For Dave Chisnall, well, the only way is up. He simply has to win. Same could be said for Robert Fulton a little later on. Chisnall survived by the skin of his teeth on Judgment Night in Cardiff, but he has to keep on winning if Chisnall wants to have any hope of challenging for the playoffs. This is must win. You feel with Chisnall on 8 points, he probably needs to win 5 out of the last 6, Rob.
I think you're right, Stuart, and perhaps he may think, well, I've got nothing to lose, just got to get up there and let them flow, because the one thing in Chisnall's game that he has not been showing the last 6 or 7 months, really, since the World Grand Prix final against Taylor, is that consistent power scoring that he possesses. We know he can just go up there and flip darts in for 180s, but that snatch is the thing that's actually killed him. So he goes off the boil with that power scoring too much, where Peter Wright, his overall consistent game, you would think may come through here.
I think Peter Wright changes darts again. 7 or 8 times during the Premier League. And he has tinkered with the tungsten. He's actually using the Premier League as a testing ground until he finds the darts that are absolutely spot on. We've seen thin barrels, we've seen smooth barrels, barrels with a different grip. There you have, you've got bulbous barrels, and here he goes. Similar, very similar to the flights that are used at the darts that are used at the World Championship. Slightly more bulbous around the barrels, but 7 or 8 times he's had different darts in 11 weeks of Premier League darts.
Well, he says that he's more consistent on the setting up and checking out with this type of dart. The straight barrel dart, he can score better. So he's got to try and find the happy medium. He's looking for perfection, and I don't think perfection is achievable in any sport. But as long as you keep thinking you can improve, then you're confident enough to make things work.
It was week 8 before Peter Wright lost a game when he was beaten by Michael van Gerwen in Dublin. Since then he's won only 1, 3 defeats out of 4 for Peter Wright.
100, Peter Wright 84.
A chance here for Peter Wright. Will he go for the bullseye, or will he go for the treble 18? He's gone for the treble 18. Got to go double 18 now. That's the only route from there. And he's missed it. Could have had a chance at the bullseye there for Wright, but decided to go for the 18s now. Chisnall doesn't want to pitch this too high. No, that's perfect. Just moves across, opens up the double top. 2 darts. And it is the one for Chisnall. A break of throw already in this game.
Don't forget, Peter Wright led the Premier League. Been in the top 2 for most of it. Last week, after Raymond van Barneveld beat him and he
125.
lost 2 matches, Peter Wright now 3rd in the table. But yet, those 3 defeats against Van Gerwen, Anderson and Barneveld in his last 4 games.
41.
All of a sudden, it's just getting a bit tougher, isn't it, for Peter Wright?
Well, this is when you're going to see the character of Peter Wright. As Chisnall fires in the first maximum of the match. Because he's been changing his darts so much, and he's been winning, he's not had to worry about it. But he lost both games last week. If he loses tonight, then the element of doubt comes in his head of what dart he actually wants to play with. And that's when he's going to have to show some big character.
Well, Phil Taylor's win over Michael Van Gerwen has seen Taylor draw level now with Peter Wright on 13 points. A big game for both players this, you know. Chisnall here looking at 2-0. Double 10. No pressure.
46.
No chances in an 11 and a 12 dart lead, but Wright is at least 9 darts away. So Chisnall's going to come back. Could go 2 double 4 here, Chisnall. He's got plenty of time. But if he goes for this double top, he's got to pitch it just over. Aim for the top wire. He's aimed it straight in the middle. And that was a very easy leg for Chisnall. Great scoring. Didn't take long for the double either.
Got to say, all too easy at the moment. And the scoring is a real problem here for Peter Wright. Just one score of 140. Look at that. Almost 30 points between them. But I know we're only in the third leg, but that significantly shows the difference. The chopping and changing of dart. I mean, you look at Chisnall's now hit 49 180s in the Premier League. Peter Wright's had only 20 so far. And he just can't get anything right, can he, at the moment?
Well, however, he does lead the 140s. But he's definitely at the moment playing with the wrong darts. Perhaps that change is one change too many. Needs to start finding that 140. Perhaps he's going to start stemming it up now as he ploughs in his 180. And what he mustn't do is if he makes it too easy for Chisnall, then Chisnall's rhythm will be a lot better. He won't snatch it so much. He's got to start putting pressure on the Chisnall throw.
Multicoloured, multi-talented Peter Wright has shown it over the last 6 months, that's for sure.
100.
You cannot afford for it to go wrong here. He was absolutely, 3 weeks ago, he was nailed on for a place in the Premier League semi-finals. Now, all of a sudden, he's under some pressure for the first time, it has to be said, in the Premier League in his debut season. Just feeling the tension there, isn't he?
Well, you're right, Stu. If he loses tonight, he is in big problems of making that top 4. And like I said, it was only a couple of weeks ago when he was nailed on to be at the O2. So Chisnall now just turning round, just checking himself. Takes it out. 2-3 legs to the old Chisnall. And we see in the first game of the evening, Gary Anderson taking a 6-0 lead against Adrian Lewis before Lewis got on the board. And Chisnall now, very easy for him.
What is now becoming important and could become significant is leg difference as well. Before this match, Peter Wright plus 12, third place in the table. Phil Taylor is closing in. Taylor is securing a place in the top 4. Gary Anderson is very much in the mix. Adrian Lewis against Michael Van Gerwen. Lewis probably has to win. Chisnall definitely has to win to stay in contention. But this is a worry for Peter Wright. No doubt.
100.
Well, the average, I don't think he's been this low in the average all year. He's actually had a brilliant year. But we keep talking about the darts, Stu. You know, it really is, when he starts to have a little bit of a downer, that's when the doubts will come even more about these darts.
55.
Is he suffering for all the changes he's making to his darts on a weekly basis, I wonder?
100.
Well, he certainly needs 140 here, and He's putting the dart low a lot of times, and the way he kicks up with these big darts and into the above, although that is a brilliant dart. It's now Chisnall, Shanghai. Well, he needs, sorry, not Shanghai, he needs a 20. That's perfect for treble 20 to leave the double 16 for 4-0 for Chisnall. Finds the bottom corner and a 4-0 lead for Chisnall. He is on fire with over 100 average. And the 80 average is not good enough from Wright.
That was the perfect double, very much like a perfect penalty, wasn't it? Right in the corner. Pressure on Peter Wright, no doubt. 4-0 down. Is it going to be 4 defeats in 5 matches for Peter Wright, who led the table only a month or so ago? Fulton must win. Barney currently in second. Barney's only lost once so far in the Premier League this year.
92.
Well, Barney's got a tough game playing Thornton coming on next in the last game of the night. Do not move from your sofa. It's going to be a cracker. Always is against these two. Van Gerwen against Lewis. And Lewis, after losing to Anderson, is going to want to put some points on the board. And, of course, Van Gerwen losing to Taylor. Mega match coming up last.
99.
Well, Peter Wright has exceeded a lot of people's expectations. Not his own, I have to say. He always believed that he could be a major player in this Premier League. Got to start proving it though. Here in Aberdeen.
Well, the Chisnall game of late suggests that he's going to have a dull patch on his scoring. It's not to say he's going to.
Bullseye then. Well, he wasn't far away. Good decision to go for it. Just needs something, doesn't he, to spark himself into life. The 170 may well have done that. But he should get a leg on the board from here, Peter Wright, finally.
And of course it would have got the crowd going as well and got them on his side. So 9, double 8 to get that first leg and to try and calm down a bit. Chase him over to the 4s. At last, Peter Wright puts a leg on the board. Now what Dave Chisnall's got to do, it's on his throw, hold his throw strongly. Do not give this leg away and let Peter Wright back in the game.
97.
Yeah, just pushing the numbers up a little, Peter Wright. He's hit 4 140s now. To add to the 180, will this be another 180 for him? There's 2. All of a sudden, he's starting to believe. The pair drew 6 apiece when they played in Bournemouth. Week 2, if memory serves me right. Peter Wright was settled for a draw, another draw from here.
Well, he breaks Chisnall here. He'll be the one on the run. Putting a little bit of pressure on Chisnall. And as I said, Chisnall does tend to go off the boil a little bit, as Van Gerwen did for 2 or 3 legs against Taylor. Got it back to 4 all, did Van Gerwen, and just didn't punish Taylor for it. And this could happen here.
140.
Of course, Scottish born in West Lothian, Peter Wright.
100.
Desperate to make an impression here tonight. So far, hasn't. We've got a chance here to possibly break the Chisnall throw.
Well, Wright will know that Chisnall may only get a dart of the double if he doesn't take this out, but quite a famous check out this, as we already know. Well, he's going to set it up surely. That's perfect for treble 20. Oh, and that's a poor miss from Wright. So a chance here for Chisnall to hold his throw. Treble 10 or treble 18. Maybe the treble 18s. 58 left. Big 18. Double top for Chisnall.
Significant miss. We're about to find out. This to break. Oh, lovely dart. Great dart. That's pretty good as well. He's back in it now. Those two darts, for me, summed up Peter Wright's performance at the World Championship, because he did that game after game on his run to the final. And he did it in the final as well, but that's more like Peter Wright.
Well, we said the first 2 or 3 legs of this match, Peter Wright's going to have to show some character, and he's certainly done that already. He's got himself back in this game. Worked really hard to break the Chisnall throne, and he mustn't give his throw away early. He's got to hold on, pile the pressure on Chisnall.
Perfect. 68 he was averaging after a couple of legs, now at nearly 93.
59.
More significantly, Peter Wright now believes.
And it's him that's got Chisnall on the back foot. There's another 2. Well, that sets it up pretty good from 200 from Peter Wright. You can see those averages. He was down at 71 one time, now up to 94. That's incredible scoring from Peter Wright. That's character for you.
Topsy leads.
20.
He'll be back. 4-0 down, Peter Wright. And remember, Dave Chisnall had 1 dart at tops to go 5-1 up. Is that going to be a turning point? Right, looking at tops again. 3 on the spin. 4-0. It's become 4-1. 4-2. Now 4-3. Now the pressure is on Chizzy.
This is the leg, the important leg for Peter Wright. Needs to break the Chisnall throw. If he lets Chisnall, well, Chisnall has a brilliant leg and wins this. Perhaps Chisnall will have the confidence to go on and close the game out. But Wright is finding that treble 20 again. It looks pretty big to put the 3rd in. He does for the 4th maximum. And Peter Wright has been on fire for these last 4 legs.
Response. Dave Chisnall's 50th 180 of the Premier League. Last century. It's a great response, especially coming after the 180 from Wright. Wright was in charge, wasn't he, of the leg until that from Chizzy. The yellow peril striking again. 50 180s.
Well, it was the perfect response. He needed to stop Peter Wright, and he did with the 180, but then he's followed it up with a bad score. He's cut that 180 in half, but Wright has not punished him for it.
96.
So a chance here for Chisnall. Going to get 6 darts, you would think, from 161. He can't afford a visit without a treble. May go 25 here. No, he's found the treble 19. A great switch from Chisnall. Right, can he take out the big one?
He's had a go at this earlier. Just missed the ball. Now he's relying on Chisnall missing.
98.
Will the pressure get to Chisnall? Well, the crowd are trying to get to Chisnall.
Well, he shouldn't have stopped still. He should have just carried on, because when you stop, they're going to boo even more. Tops again for Chisnall. This time, he quietens the crowd and turns round. Well, I don't know whether that's a wise thing, winding them up, but certainly the double top was the wise thing.
Well, that's an important dart, wasn't it? Held it together. Chisnall.
140.
A draw, really, not much use to Chisnall. Peter Wright would settle for that any day from here. The Chizzy hits another, pushes his average over the 100 with a third maximum.
Well, Chisnall, as you said, still over the 100. Peter Wright now up to just under 96. So his performance over these last half a dozen legs has been incredible. He's really warmed up to win a brilliant match, and Chisnall's in there again. Oh! Looked so big. How did he miss it?
We've had two 9-darters in Premier League in Aberdeen, Barneveld and Taylor. A lot of people thinking that there might be one tonight.
131.
Barneveld 2010 against Jenkins, Taylor 2012 against Painter in this arena.
170. Peter Ball, 130.
Not what he was aiming for, but it will do, you think, for Chisnall. Got to get the treble. And Chizzy was for a point here, Rod. He needs both. He needs to win. Needs the double.
He just steps back for the double 4. This for a point. Chisnall holds his game together. That secures him 1 point, but as you said, Stu, 1 point's not enough for Chisnall. It's his throw now. He'll be just thinking, throw a 12 darter, even a 15, put the pressure on Wright.
And he has quietened the crowd as well. The mini fight back of 3 straight legs from Peter Wright. Is it going to be in vain, or can he produce
100.
another golden spell of touch of 3 more straight legs to pinch a point? That's the equation for Snakebite.
131.
Well, that double top for Chisnall to go 5-3 up would take him out to 64. It was a massive turning point back for Chisnall. Wright was on a run. Wright needs to fill it up. That's his 5th of the night. 8 in total for these two. And I'd have never thought that Chisnall would have been outscored on the 180s by Peter Wright tonight, playing with those darts.
100.
If Wright does want to get that point, he's got to break Chisnall twice in the last 3 legs as well. He's doing a decent job here.
130.
Giving himself a chance to get 1 leg back. 1 leg, then it's his throw, and then we'll see. Oh, look at this though, this to win!
145.
How close was that on the wire? But the pressure on Peter Wright to stay in the game. Will he go treble 17 or will he go the bullseye route? He's going the bullseye route now, 16. That leaves the ball and he's going to have to move, because that first dart is... You can't see it. He has to move at least a yard to the right and pitch round the side.
This would be a miracle dart.
Oh, yes!
What a dart! A miracle dart indeed! How on earth did Peter Wright manage that? Through the eye of a needle. Amazing, amazing dart from Peter Wright. A nod of approval from his opponents as well. How on earth did Peter Wright manage that? Wow!
Well, Dave Chisnall would have been standing there thinking, he cannot hit this bullseye. I'm now going to win 7-4, or 7-3 I should say. That was, I'll take my hat off to you, that was a great third dart. We see Phil Taylor did that a couple of years ago. And certainly now Peter Wright has found the bullseye from nowhere.
As the fizz got out of Peter Wright's game
135.
in this crucial leg, could Peter Wright force a decider from 4-0 down? Well,
60.
not. He's had 9 darts already to the right. Chisnall stolen the throw. He's a big favourite now to win it.
121.
That's a magnificent average from Dave Chisnall, just under 105. It's incredible darts. And certainly Wright has stepped it up. But it's those first 4 legs. He let Chisnall get too far ahead. And then he's hard to pull back. So 6 darts from here for Chisnall to close this game out.
60.
Needs to leave it close. That's unlucky. Well thrown dart. Needs this big treble.
92.
Giving himself a chance. Giving himself a little chance. But is he relying on Chisnall missing? Tops to win it. A great marker. Gotta go. Had to go. And Dave Chisnall with a significant victory. Only his 3rd in the Premier League to stay in the playoff race. For Peter Wright, it's now 4 defeats in his last 5 matches. Fantastic finale coming up to the night's entertainment in Aberdeen. Barney's next, and then that amazing rivalry is renewed between Adrian Lewis and Michael Van Geuren.
He thinks he's number 1, and I think I'm number 1. So over these next year, we'll see how comes out on top, and that'll be it.
Yeah? Okay, we will see.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Betway sponsors Premier League darts on Sky Sports. Betway sponsors Premier League darts on Sky Sports.
Betway Premier League, live from Aberdeen. Flying Scotsman Gary Anderson. Good at whitewash Lewis, ended up 7-4. 4 breaks to throw from Phil Taylor, a 7-4 victory over mighty Michael van Gerwen. 3 defeats on the spin now for Snake by Wright. 7-4 is beaten by Dave Chisnall, average 103. On next, Scotland, Robert Thornton against 5-time champion of the world, Raymond van Barneveld. And he'll get a victory here. 2 of the biggest rivals in the game, Michael van Gerwen against Adrian Lewis, play their second match of the evening. So it looks like this, Chizzy moves up a spot to 6. It's getting tighter there, isn't it? 10 points he's got. Peter Wright, 13, level with Phil Taylor now. Chizzy in great form. Terrific finishing, 112 and 103 checkouts, and a 7-4 victory over Peter Snake by Wright, 103.503 to average. Peter Wright seems to be in a little bit of trouble, Wayne.
Well, he's actually been unfortunate at the same time. He's missing whereas he wasn't. Now what's happening, people are playing well against him. Chizzy, double after double, we're going in. Once he starts hitting doubles, you know with Chizzy that he's going to do something because he's scoring. It wasn't the 180s in that match, it was the 140s and the 135s. That's what really done the damage. But on the doubles, he looked more likely, which I spoke to him as he come off. He went, I can hit doubles. He's kind of got it into his head that he can't put them away, but now he has, and that might be a turning point.
A turning point for him. It could be a dreadful night for Wright if Lewis beats Van Gerwen.
It could be an absolute disaster. Last week, as you said, lost 2 matches, but this week, even though he's playing once, with Phil Taylor winning, 2 points to Phil, obviously. Peter Wright he's got to be looking over his shoulder now, whereas he was 4 or 5 points clear. If Adrian wins, he'll be 1 point behind, and all the others are just gaining and gaining. When you've been playing so well and you're clear, it's fine. But when all of a sudden the pack are catching up, you start to panic when there's really no need. It's just a blip because he's still playing okay.
Robert Thornton's been playing okay, but coming out the wrong side of some tight results. He needs to win right through now.
He does, yeah. Far too many times. 11, 12 darters, missed a 9 last week. But he's only winning the legs. He's winning 4 or 5 legs every week. No good. You've got to win 7. And he's playing someone in Barney, for me, who's been the most consistent thrower throughout the Premier League so far. If Robert Thornton continues to play the way he is, he will not get many more wins. He's got to put it all together. It's not his scoring, it's not his doubles, it's all of it, all at once.
A win for Barney and he can start booking his seats to the O2, can't he?
It's not the problem, the league phase for Barney, it's the knockout phase. He's qualified 6 times previous to make the playoffs. This will just be another time for Barney. He's got to put the playoffs right. He likes the league format. He's consistent, he's a quality thrower. He knows what it takes to qualify.
Barney's coming to Aberdeen next.
I got the formula, and I'll rain on all of you. So hey, and I'm balling, but I don't rub it in your face. Furthermore, hey, I was in a Bedford nightclub, man, so I'm a member of the group. Hey, anybody who thinks I can't do it anymore, best step right back and say, number 1 with number 1, yeah, that's my brother. Hey, I was in the chart with Avenue and Shake and Leg, roll deep, shake that.
Betway sponsors Premier League darts on Sky Sports.